The church was founded by Joseph Smith, whom Mormons believe to be a true prophet of God. Mormons are taught by their leaders today that Joseph Smith was married to one woman, Emma Smith. No mention is made in official church books published today that Joseph Smith not only had one, but 33 wives. Many Mormons are unaware that Joseph Smith had 33 wives, all of them secret except for his wife Emma. The wives of Joseph Smith, according to official Mormon history, included women and their own daughters, as well as Joseph Smith's own foster daughters, the Lawrence sisters. His wives included girls as young as 14 years old. Among his 32 secret wives were 11 women who were already married to other men, who lived with their husbands, while they occasionally had sex in secret with Joseph Smith. According to Sarah Pratt, the wife of Mormon apostle Orson Pratt, Joseph Smith tried to seduce her while her husband, Orson Pratt, was on a mission for the church in England. Also, Nancy Rigdon, the teenaged daughter of Sidney Rigdon, an early Mormon leader, claimed that Joseph Smith also tried to sexually seduce her, promising her and her family exaltation in the celestial kingdom if she had sex with him. Sidney Rigdon later left the Mormon church, stating that Joseph Smith was a fallen prophet and had become like David in the Bible, the Hebrew king who killed another man so he could commit adultery with the man's wife. Rigdon claimed that Joseph Smith had become a fallen prophet and that he had become a liar and an adulterer. Sidney Rigdon had at one time been Joseph Smith's closest friend and supporter. Mormons today are never told any of this. In 1834, Joseph Smith hired a nanny for his and his wife's children. The nanny was 16-year-old Fanny Alger. Fanny was known to be very beautiful. She continued as nanny until Emma Smith found Joseph Smith and Fanny having sex in their barn. Fanny became pregnant and then went to live with her sister. This was 9 years before Joseph Smith claimed to receive Doctrine and Covenants Section 32, which authorized him to take additional wives. Oliver Cowdery was the second elder of the Mormon Church. He wrote most of the Book of Mormon as Joseph Smith dictated it to him. Oliver Cowdery was excommunicated from the Mormon Church in 1838. Why? Because Cowdery claimed that Joseph Smith had had a sexual affair with Fanny Alger. Oliver Cowdery wrote to his brother Warren about Joseph Smith's affair with 16-year-old Fanny Alger, stating, "I did not fail to affirm that what I had said was strictly true. A dirty, nasty, filthy affair of his and Fanny Alger's was talked over, in which I strictly declare that I had never deviated from the truth on the matters." According to William McLellan, an early Mormon apostle who later left the church, Emma Smith, Joseph Smith's only legal wife, told him that she caught Joseph Smith in the barn having sex with Fanny Alger in 1834. About 9 years before Joseph Smith even claimed to have a revelation from God authorizing the practice of polygamy. Joseph Smith also publicly denied that he was a polygamist. He referred to polygamy as a doctrine of the devil, yet, at the same time, he was a secret polygamist. Not all young women accepted his sexual advances. Some rejected him, and then they came forward claiming that he had tried to seduce them. Joseph Smith called them whores and liars. Joseph Smith always denied he practiced polygamy. Joseph Smith lied. What we are saying to you here today is not a false anti-Mormon claim. What we are saying is fully documented as accepted fact by all Mormon historians. All Mormon historians know that Joseph Smith denied he was a polygamist in public, but was in fact a polygamist in private, and that Joseph Smith tried to ruin the reputation of young girls and women who claimed he tried to seduce them. What these girls and women were claiming was the truth. In 1832, in Ohio, Joseph Smith was tarred and feathered by a mob. Mormons are told this was done because Joseph Smith was the founder of a hated religion. But the truth of the matter is that Joseph Smith was tarred and feathered in Ohio in 1832 because he was having sex with young teenage girls in the village. Official Mormon history states that Joseph Smith had 33 wives, and that this was a commandment by God. According to one of these so-called wives, Joseph Smith told her that an angel with a flaming sword appeared to him and commanded him to take many wives or be destroyed. What else could he do but to obey the angel and have sex with all these young beautiful women? The real reason Joseph Smith was killed in June 1844. Joseph Smith was killed by an angry mob in Carthage, Illinois in June of 1844. Mormons are told that an anti-Mormon mob killed Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram because Joseph was the founder of a hated religion. But this is not true. We will tell you the real reason that Joseph Smith was killed in 1844. In 1843, Joseph Smith told another Mormon leader, the second highest Mormon in the church, a man named William Law, that polygamy was true, and that if William Law would share his wife with him, then Joseph would share Emma with William Law. William Law rejected this and concluded that Joseph Smith was a fallen prophet. They were determined to save the church by ousting Joseph Smith and appointing David Whitmer as the new prophet. In 1844, William Law and other anti-polygamous Mormons started the Nauvoo Expositor newspaper in Nauvoo. The newspaper revealed that Joseph Smith was a secret polygamist, while at the same time publicly condemning polygamy. They called for Joseph Smith to step down as president of the church. In response, Joseph Smith ordered the Nauvoo town marshal to close down the offices of the Nauvoo Expositor and to destroy the printing plates of the newspaper with a sledgehammer. This was done. William Law and the other anti-polygamous Mormons fled Nauvoo after getting death threats. When the governor of Illinois, Thomas Ford, heard what Joseph Smith had done, he issued an arrest warrant. At first, Joseph Smith tried to flee to Iowa, but was later convinced to stand trial because the Nauvoo city charter allowed the mayor to do what Joseph Smith had done to the Nauvoo Expositor. According to official Mormon history, which most Mormons never hear or are never told about, Joseph Smith and those with him in Carthage jail drank hard liquor and smoked pipes on the night before the killing, and Joseph Smith wrote letters asking the Nauvoo Legion, a large Mormon militia in Nauvoo, to come rescue him. But the letter never reached Nauvoo in time. This is an Ethan Allen 1837 patent small 6-shooter pistol. This is the gun type that Joseph Smith used at Carthage jail to shoot 3 men, killing 2 of them. Mormons are told that Joseph Smith went to his death like a martyr, but this is not true. A gun was smuggled into the jail on the night before the killing, and Joseph Smith used it to shoot at the mob. Joseph Smith was not killed at Carthage jail because he was the founder of a hated religion, but because he illegally closed down a newspaper that truthfully revealed his secret practice of polygamy. Even today, every Mormon male expects that when he becomes a god in the celestial kingdom, he will be given additional wives, and that all gods in the celestial kingdom have multiple wives. Every Mormon male expects to have literal physical sex with these multiple wives for all eternity. Early Mormon prophets and apostles taught that Jesus was a polygamist, and even fathered many children by these women. The Mormon Church teaches that Joseph Smith was persecuted and killed because he claimed to be a prophet and was the founder of a hated religion. But the truth is that Joseph Smith was persecuted and ultimately killed because he couldn't keep his hands off of beautiful teen girls and the wives of other men, and because he persecuted those who told the truth about his secret sexual practices.